Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Wellness Wednesday. My name is Alejandra Martinez. I am the artistic director for Innersense Organic Beauty. I am the owner of a Bloom Salon and Gallery, and I am your holistic hairdresser. Today, we are meeting with Jessica Norwood, author of Your Hair is Magic, Bedhead. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you so much, Alejandra, for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. So we already know you're an author. The other thing that is amazing is that you are a mother of two.
I grew up with curly hair. My mom is German and my dad is Black, and they met in Germany. So I was born and raised there, and I just always stood out. I have brown skin. I had dark, big, frizzy, curly hair that my mom did not know what to do with for the most part. So if you look back at any of my baby pictures, I always had like the big high pony that was like teased out. She loved that style. And now that I've got my own curly kids, I want to make sure that I know how to take care of their hair and that they love their hair, because for decades of my life, I really just wanted blonde, stick straight hair, because that's what I saw and that's what I thought was beautiful. And as a kid, you just want to blend in. You don't want to stand out, right? And all I saw was blonde, straight hair. So that's desperately what I craved. And I don't want that for my kids. And so I am on a mission to make sure they love their curls, that they're healthy, that they look great, and, that we're just living this curly life together.
Yeah. And further, you not only want your children to be, in a place where they love their hair based on it feeling healthy, based on it, being cared for properly. You also want everyone to, really embrace their curls as well. And your belief is that curly hair and loving your curly hair is something that can and should be taught at a young age, because it doesn't always come natural. And that's in essence why you decided to write this book. But tell me more about how this all happened, because your book is phenomenal and it's really helping so many people. Tell me about that.
Thank you so much. So it came out of the pandemic, like so many things did, and we were spending so much time at home, and I was trying to find books. We're big readers in the house, and I love that my kids love books, but I was trying to find books that not only talked about the beauty of curls, but also the day-to-day, because the books that we do have and that we do love, it's more like, I love my hair and it's my crown and it's beautiful, which is a great message. And yes, to all of that. But also as curly girls, we know sometimes it's frustrating, right? Wash days are a lot. Having nighttime protection is something you're going to have to teach your children. I didn't start wrapping my hair until I was an adult, right? I didn't have anybody in my life that was like, no, you need to protect your curls at night. Going swimming, I look around now and my children are never going to be able to hop out of a pool or the ocean and just run a brush through and put it in a cute bun or ponytail. Not going to happen. So I wanted to bring a realistic aspect to loving your curls and why it's so important, but also the care and maintenance and sometimes the frustrations of having curly hair. So I wanted to start with bedhead, because no matter what you wear at night, as far as your bonnet or your buff or your, satin scarf, your curls are probably not going to be perfect when you wake up. So I wanted to start with what do our curls look like in the morning? They're wild. Some parts are flat. Some parts are sticking straight up. Some parts are frizzy. You might even still find that perfect curl, right? Which is always so exciting. So I wanted to highlight bedhead and the start of the day. And then the next book is wash day, because everybody knows wash day is a big deal, and detangling and really caring for and nurturing and conditioning the hair, but it's a process. But then I want to take it further and talk about the pool or summer hair or helmet hair. I know when my daughter comes home from school, sometimes if she has a bun or a high pony and then she's like, I want to ride my bike. Well, all that hair is not going to fit under the helmet. So we've got to take it down first. And, then she's got all these curls sticking out of her helmet. And, I want to highlight the reality of what it's like being a kid with curls, but then also tying in the love for curls. So that's really the mission behind the book series.
I love that it's a series because there's so much information that can be crammed into one book. And was that ever an option for you? Did you think it was going to be one book, or did you immediately realize this needed to be a series?
I think I immediately realized it needed to be a series because in my head, I wanted the books to grow with the kids. And
Oh,
so bedhead, that's something everybody can relate to. And when my daughter was waking up last year in the pandemic and we were spending all this time together, we would analyze her curls. And I would say, look at that one. That one's perfect. Or look at that one. That one's frizzy. That's still fine. You're still beautiful. You know, look at this one. You could like stick your finger straight through it. And we just made it interactive and almost like a game. But then, you know, we needed to do wash day and her hair was really growing very quickly and it wasn't super pleasant. So I needed to come up with a way to also talk about wash day. And I feel like a lot of these things are separate entities and I could squish them all into one book, but I mean, you're a mom of 3, right? So you understand attention span is limited. And I really wanted to get certain messages across in a detailed, fun, rhyming way. And so I decided, let's break it up, right? Let's do bedhead, let's do wash day, let's do helmet hair, and let's almost shed light on these individual scenarios that we as curly people go through.
Yeah,
So
it's so relatable. And I think as a child, just thinking back as a child, I feel like I didn't read too many things that I could relate to in that way. And I feel like our hair is so specific and we have such a relationship with our hair, even as children, you know. And so I think it's, you know, do you find that you're subconsciously tapping into that younger you to remind yourself of what you were never told or what was never shared with you or what was so impactful for you when you were a child that somebody did share and how that helped you? Is that something that you do often?
100%. You hit the nail on the head. This is just as much for my children and your children and all the curly kids as it is for me. It's almost like a healing process where I'm going back and I'm like, man, I wish I would have heard this message, or what do I wish I would have seen, you know, 30 plus years ago? What would have impacted me in a positive way? So I am taking my past and I'm trying to put it into these future books so that I don't miss anything, because the conversation has to be there. So I've got my white family and then I've got my black family and I'm in the middle because, you know, when my cousins were wearing their super fun Moesha braids, well, when they tried to braid my hair is so fine and soft, it would just slip out, right? But I'm also very tender-headed, so I wasn't going to sit there for 8 hours and get the super cool hairstyles that they had. And then when I was living in Germany, that's not what I saw. So I was always in this weird in between, and I didn't have anybody that was relating to me or that I could see as impactful. The first time I think I saw my kinds of curls on television was when I moved back to the United States and I was watching Sister Sister with Tia and Tamara Mowry. And I was like, oh my gosh, they have big hair like me. I've never seen this before, you know? So I think we all know representation matters, and you have to be able to see a little bit of yourself, you know, when you're reading books, when you're watching movies and TV and commercials, because it can have a really positive impact when you can see yourself, but when you don't, it's, you know, it's pretty detrimental at times. So I want to erase all of that where I can.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing that work, because more and more we're seeing books that highlight young children, their experience with their curls and celebrating their curls, celebrating their culture. And curly hair, you know, there's so many different types of cultures around the children that are growing up and with these curly, you know, with these curly heads of hair. And so there isn't one, you know, type of curl or one type of culture that we're speaking on. We're speaking on every different person's cultural experience, and you are speaking to yours and how you grew up. Are there any other books that have left an impression on you, or any other fellow authors that are, you know, speaking that on behalf of celebrating your curls and your culture that you want to let us know about? Are there other authors we should check out?
Yes, so our bookshelves, we have so many bookshelves in the house, so I can't go through all of them. One of our favorites is Don't Touch My Hair by Shari Miller. It's so great. The illustrations are bright and fun. And I think it's a really positive message too, to talk about boundaries and personal space, especially as our children are getting older and they are at school or, you know, out playing for the summer, and being able to say, please don't touch my hair, or you have to ask permission. We give a lot of consent in the house. I really am trying to teach the children that your body is your own. And every morning, like, our bow phase is over with my daughter. And every morning I'm like, would you like a bow today? Hoping that she says yes. And she always says no. But it's her choice, right? Her body, her choice. I'm not going to force a bow on her if she doesn't want to wear one. So I think Don't Touch My Hair is a great message, and you can take it into other conversations about giving consent and setting boundaries at a young age, especially for young girls, that I think is really important.
I agree with you.
Good. I think it's really valuable to set boundaries and to have those discussions early. Another one of our favorites is Bedtime Bonnet. So I started putting a bonnet on my daughter when she was about 2. Now it's touch and go, right? Like, it doesn't stay on very long, but I try to explain to her, when we wear our bonnet at night, our detangle and our refresh in the morning is easier, right? So trying to make that association that if you don't want to wear one, we're not protecting our hair, and it's going to take a little bit longer for mommy or daddy to get the tangles out tomorrow morning. So Bedtime Bonnet by Nancy Red is one of our favorites. It talks about when the sun goes down, our hair goes up, and, you know, the mom wraps her hair up in a scarf, the daughter wears a bonnet, you know, the dad wears a do-rag, the sister, you know, puts her hair in like a wrapped bun. And it just goes through how even within one family, you can have a lot of different hair textures and styles, and how to protect them. And it's just a really nice narrative. And even my daughter will read it on nights where she just refuses to wear her bonnet, but she knows, you know, all these characters wear their different sleep protection. And I really love that. So that's a definitely good one to check out, especially if your child is not yet wearing anything on their head at night to protect their curls. It might be encouraging to them. And then one of the others, of course, Hair Love by Matthew Cherry, has the short film on Netflix. Definitely watch that. Be prepared to cry. Have your tissues ready. It's short, but man, it just like tugs at your heartstrings every time. Yeah, I love that one. And then I Am Enough by Grace Byers, which I love. And she also is mixed heritage. And I've read a lot of stories about how, you know, being biracial or multicultural, sometimes, you know, you don't feel enough of this and you feel too much of that. And people want to question your identity, or, you know, and it's just, this book is all about, you are enough. You are perfect the way you are, the way you were created. The girl on the cover has her big hair out and the curls are just popping and beautiful. And it's just a wonderful message about self-acceptance and self-love, and, you know, feeling like you're enough. So those are, I think, if I had to pick 4 that are not my book, I would encourage people to pick those up for sure.
That's so great. I think that our community probably has read many of them. Our audience with Innersense, a lot of our hairdressers have clients with curly hair, or they themselves have curly hair. And I think that this has been a topic that we, you know, have been discussing and talking about and celebrating for as long as, you know, for a while. And so to see these books at Target when you're walking by, or just at your local bookstore, it's just, I don't think a lot of us realize how few there were before, maybe even 4 or 5 years ago. And so just to see it becoming more available to people, I think is just helping to spread the message that there's so many types of beauty, and also letting people who may not have hair that's curly better understand what their routine is like, better understand what so there's so much as a whole that is so beneficial to everyone. And I so appreciate you writing this, sharing with this, teaching your children, how to love their hair, because like you said, it doesn't come natural, to some. And so it is important that we make sure that we are helping our young folks embrace and love their hair. So thank you so much. One more thing that I wanted to talk about, the reason that you got our attention too is you love Innersense. You've been using clean beauty products and brands for a number of years on your kids at home. And I just wanted to touch a little bit about that, about clean beauty and why that's important to you.
Yeah, well, it should be important to everybody. But so again, I grew up in Europe, and we know that the EU has stricter laws when it comes to ingredients that go into products, and they frankly just do a better job of protecting their consumers. And unfortunately, in the United States, that's not the case. And so we have to be really intentional about looking at ingredients and seeking out brands that are conscious of that. And our skin, our bodies it's our largest organ, right? We have to make sure that what we're using is helping us thrive and be well and not harming us. And so, I think the statistic now is 90% of cancers are environmental, which is like, and maybe that's wrong, but it's a very high number of cancers that are caused by what we're putting, not only in our bodies, but on our skin, our lotions. I mean, the average woman uses, 183 products before noon. I mean, think about, your body wash, shampoo, conditioner, your leave-ins, your styling products, let alone, all the things we put on our skin and our face to feel more beautiful, for the day. I mean, it adds up, and those toxins, they get into our bodies and they can do a lot of harm. I mean, we've got endocrine disruptors and hormone disruptors. And I love that Innersense is not only conscious of the environment, right? And of making sure that the packaging is clean and is safe and is, recyclable and made from products that are not harming the environment, but also that what's coming out of those bottles is good for us and is healthy and is not harming us. And if I can, as a parent, of course, the only thing you want to do is keep your kid happy and safe. Like that's, if at the end of the day, those are the only two things I do, that's going to be my focus. I want happy, healthy children, the end, right? And so if I can make sure that the products that we're using are good for them and are helping them be healthier, then that's what I'm going to do. And I'm glad that Innersense kind of takes the guesswork out of that for me, because I know that you all as a brand are making every effort to give us clean, safe, natural ingredients where possible that are sustainably sourced and have thought behind them, right? Like just being conscious as a brand is so important. And I seek out to support brands that are trying to keep me and my family healthy. So that's why I choose Innersense.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for your time with us. I have so many more questions to ask you. I will just keep following you on your Instagram because you're constantly posting your how-tos, how you detangle, how you cleanse, and all of that. And I think for anyone who either has small children or works with small children, I feel like it's definitely a benefit. So thank you for sharing all of your love and your family with all of us. And congrats, so much congratulations on the books and what is coming. What is the next? Oh yes, thank you. So that is Your Hair is Magic, Bedhead. You already have your second book out too. How many books do you have out right now?
So Bedhead is the only one that's out officially. Okay. Wash Day is being illustrated, should be out later this year. I'm really excited about it. It's also a rhyming book, but it just details our process for Wash Day. So I wanted it to be fun and informative. So for people who maybe are struggling to take care of their children's hair, this is going to be like a 30,000-foot view guide of where you can get started and kind of products to use and finding a process that works for you. But also, if you have a routine that you're comfortable with, it's still something that's going to be relatable. So I wanted it to be informative, but also kind of universal for anybody who's detangling and doing wash day with kids, because it can be a lot.
Thank you. Will you let everybody know how they can stay connected with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am on Instagram at Knotty Girl Publishing. That's KNOTTY. Getting all those knots out of our hair, and same for Facebook as well. So, slide into my DMs, leave comments, trying to build that community of, moms, authors, curly hair enthusiasts, all are welcome.
Thank you so much. Well, I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. I appreciate you meeting with us and just getting to know you, and best of luck on all of the future books to come.
Thank you so much, Alejandra. This has been so awesome. Really appreciate you all, and can't wait to stay in touch.
Thank you so much. And for all of you out there, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay well.